Hello, good whatever time it is at your location right now. I am Richard, also known as Raider Rich, previously known as Light Magic, but that's a few years ago. Thank you for tuning in to another live stream with me trying to get something useful out of OXI One Mk1 combined with my Eurorack gear, and also running a project. Sorry. Wrong. Things. Pressing the wrong buttons. Okay. Me also running a project inside of Ableton Live, which is today's DAW of choice, but it could be Reaper or Bitwig as well. I use those as well. So my microphone is coming into the DAW. And then currently only one voice of Eurorack oscillator plus filter is coming into my group of sound sources. And it's being processed by a delay and reverb. So yesterday and the day before I fiddled about with making certain things work together, like making the OXI One work well with the Eurorack. And one of the issues I had yesterday was syncing or synchronizing Pamela's Pro workout, which is this clock module in Eurorack, to the internal clock and sequencer start and stop of the OXI One sequencer. I figured it out outside of streaming, and as it turned out, the one solution was to use two channels of OXI or Pamela Pro output through the OXI pipe into the OXI One, and changing settings in a way that was unexpected. So I could not have fully figured it out on my own without a lot of just experimenting and hoping for the best. I looked it up on YouTube and found a video made by Manuel from OXI Instruments. And in that video, he explained 2 years ago how to actually do this with a Pamela new workout, which is kind of the same module, and the OXI One back then. And I didn't expect a few of the tips in there, and I used it, and it does actually work. So, hooray, I guess. That's good. Today, with that out of the way, what it means actually is that Pamela's Pro workout is set to 70 BPM, 70 beats per minute right now. So is the OXI One, because it follows Pamela. But if we look in Ableton Live, I switched on external sync in the DAW as well. And it now follows the BPM of Pamela Pro, which is not always 100% 70 BPM, but it's close enough. This also means if I change the speed of Pamela Pro, so if we speed up this sequence to 80 BPM. You see it here on the display of the OXI One. It's turned to 80. We can also hear that the sequence is now faster. And again, looking in Ableton Live, it is about 80 BPM as well. It's not 100% precise, but it's good enough. And this is quite important because, for example, with the delay effect that I have on the output of one of the modules, this delay effect is synced to the speed of the DAW. So if you have a delay on the 16th note of every audio blurb that comes in, I want to keep that in sync with the speed of the actual sequence I'm running. And it will now happily follow along. Everything is in sync, more or less. So if we go back to a lower BPM, we could go to 59 BPM. 59 is my current age. Everything has been adjusted down. And so is the sync of the delay. So it will keep everything rhythmically in sync, which just sounds better, I believe. Having that out of the way is a big win. And because I have actually experimented with a few options and looked up the correct way, or one of the correct ways this morning, from here on forward, I will probably not forget this part anymore. So making a new patch in the future, syncing up various devices and software will become easier. So it's all part of a learning curve. Now, to actually, I mean, the bleeps and the bloops are fun in modular, but I want to make everything a bit more musically sounding and more working towards a result that I could one day even record and do something fun with. But the experimentation in the rack is what I got it for. I don't need to create full songs, but I wouldn't mind creating a few, let's say, nice musical sounding experiments that I can record for a few minutes and turn into their own videos for later reference. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna try today. So, we have multiple sequencers. We have 4 lanes in the OXI One Mk1. The Mark II has 8 lanes of sequencers, but it's okay. It's fine. I could introduce a new sequence on track 2, for example, and I already did that in an earlier stage during one of the streams of the past 2 days. So here is a slowly walking sequence of 64 steps. I slowed it down considerably and I played in just a few notes, long sustained notes like here. This is just sustained all the way. And I did send it to my DAW, and that's the beauty. Through this HDMI cable going into the OXI pipe, we can send sequences into the rack. We could even get sequences from within the Eurorack, put them into the Squarp instrument Hermod and turn it back into MIDI. And we can even, if I have a proper long cable, I could even connect this device, this sequencer, also to my PC and talk to it within the DAW. So, like randomly generated sequences from these modules here, for example, could go into Ableton Live and could play a software synthesizer there. Or I could connect a hardware synthesizer like the Korg Modwave or the Waldorf Quantum Mark II, which I have in the box right now, so I won't do that. And So the OXI One can send simultaneously over CV and gate to Eurorack, USB to my computer into a DAW, but it also has MIDI in and out, so it can send the sequences on these tracks to various devices over various connections at the same time. It can be fun, can be handy. So let's say that these notes, I changed, by the way, the first track, I changed it to major C, or C major. And let me also change the scale on track 2, otherwise they won't sound musically nice together. So major, and also a C3 or C4. It just changes the root position in octaves. It's fine. But I will go lower actually, because these are supposed to be like low droning notes. C2. But I'm gonna send track 2 over MIDI to Ableton Live. So if the octave that the OXI One is sending doesn't like comply to what I want to hear inside of the DAW, I can have Ableton Live transpose it up or down as far as I want. So let's see if we can turn these notes with the first track playing some kind of semi-randomly notes with these devices. Let's turn this into a background for these melody notes. So back in Ableton Live, it looks as if, okay, here's OXI One listening to channel 2. This is what I'm sending currently, because I'm on track 2 in the OXI One, which defaults to MIDI channel 2. And I have an instance of Falcon on this channel, so let's hear it. Okay, so it's playing something. And I just picked one of the presets in Falcon. Could have, of course, create an entirely new sound if we wanted to. Is that fun? Can make this an empty part. I will, before even making the first part or the first start of a new preset in Falcon, I will add an effect to this track. So that once, let me see, UVI Spark Verb probably. Or for the drone, perhaps Eventide Black Hole, which is one of the big ones for me. So, okay. You can see as well that the synchronization of this plugin also has learned from all the way from the Eurorack module Pamela Pro workout that we are currently working at a speed of around 59 BPM. So it all carries through even inside the plugins. So we got Black Hole. So anything we do inside of Falcon now will already have a black hole effect over it. So, okay, let's see. Hey, my case, welcome to the stream. Expect chaos and nothing more. No, I'm actually trying to turn the chaos of the past 2 days, the past 2 streams, into a more musical result. And if you want, you can be part of that. Or at least be a witness of that. So let me see. I'm gonna create a new sound in Ableton. Oh, not in Ableton, in UVI Falcon, which is probably one of the best purchases I've done. Although I don't use it that much, but it's one of my top plugins. So Supra Saw. Let's see what happens. Here it comes. So this is a note played from the OXI One Mk1 coming in over USB. A fat super saw. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. It's not very interesting to design a sound when it's playing so slowly. So this is UVI's version of a super saw. So if I don't like the output of OXI One, I can put a MIDI pitch in front of this. And for example, pitch it 2 octaves lower. Which makes it more impressive. So now we have a more bassy super saw. And of course, all the dials that I add to this sound design we can automate. I gave the slow attack here of 300 milliseconds, so it's not snappy when it starts. Can get the release a bit longer. Because we are playing this slowly. I'm gonna say frequently because Ableton Live can sometimes crash. It's not their fault per se. It's when you introduce too many things, do too weird stuff. I can agree that sometimes it doesn't know what to do anymore. And it doesn't have the memory protection that Bitwig offers. If in Bitwig one task crashes, one plugin or one one lane of processing power crashes, the others can still run. In Ableton, if something crashes, you are done. So save fast and save often. It's not the sound that I want actually, but it's more to demonstrate what Falcon can do, for example. So, and the only reason I do this is I want to make a sound bed over which my modular can play a few randomized notes so that it all glues together in a nice way. What we can do is add another part to this same sound. So one Falcon patch, which is called a multi, can contain multiple programs at the same time. They can all listen to different MIDI channels, but also they can listen to the same MIDI channels. So I could add, let's say, an arpeggiator. Let me see, it's in the events, arpeggiator. Okay, not like that. Perhaps I have to create some kind of oscillator first. You will be hearing this oscillator. That's the oscillator that I just added. So, like I said, two programs, one super saw and now this one analog sawtooth is playing at the same time now. Why is this not working? There are many fun things I can do. Too bad I haven't done this in a while. Can I add this to the layer group? Like a layer effect? Not really. Oh wait, I need to add it to the events. Yep. So now I added a step arpeggiator. Let's see if we can find. So entire sequencers can be added. And I can also, for every program, set the octave separately. So it's almost like our friends Electric. No, like the Vangelis and John Anderson and Vangelis song. I forgot the name. So even though OXI One is sending only long sustained notes on this MIDI channel, I can have UVI Falcon turn it into complete sequences. So wow, it's a bit fast, isn't it? It doesn't really make anything better. So now we've got a Euclidean sequencer and a supersaw playing, only being triggered by a sustained note coming in from the OXI One Mk1. If we keep the gate length short, it will have a higher impact if we put a delay in effect in. So you hear it now. We've got the supersaw, which is 2 octaves below what I'm sending from the OXI One. Then we've got this Euclidean sequencing done on the same channel at the same time, but an octave higher. So when the next note comes in, we will be 2 octaves higher. Let's see how that sounds. So I'm not going to brag about what UVI Falcon can do. I'm just going to say it's my most valuable plugin ever. And it basically makes everything else unnecessary. Because this thing can do so much. Hey, Crazy Webbit, aka Duncan. A rich stream of poverty. I will give you rich sounds to start your weekend soon. So, Crazy Webbit, it's very, very cool that you enter now, because I'm actually, after a long time using UVI Falcon again, all live streams are unnecessary. Not only other, but mine in particular. The cool thing now, Webbit, is that I have 2 tracks running on OXI One. I did manage to sync it up to Pamela's Pro workout. I, in the end, needed a video by Manuel from OXI Instruments from 2 years ago, where he explains where it works a bit different than you would expect, and that's why I didn't get it to work. But now, Pamela is the boss of my studio. So, if I stop the sequence now, so Pamela's Pro workout, is this yellow button is now actually launch control. This is the button that will make Europe great again. Once I start it, or if I change the tempo, to, let's say your age is about, I think your age should be about 54-ish, 54 BPM. Well, the thing is, it is no longer my show. Pam is now in control. So, and no, my wife is not called Pam, although I might rename her. So, 54 has been set here as the speed of our entire operation. If I now, if you look here now, OXI One is now displaying 54. And beautifully, here in Ableton Live, we also see an approximately 54 beats per minute. And even Falcon, which is synced to my DAW, shows an approximate 54 BPM. It's never really spot on, but it's not as simple as it seems. But this does mean if I turn the knob, the magic knob on Pamela, and go to 63, then by the power of CV and gates, Falcon gets close to 63 as well, which is important if you have a delay like this, because I want this synchronized to the beat. And I couldn't be happier. Well, I could be, but I was still working on that. So there are long sustained notes on the second channel, the second track of the OXI One. And these long sustained notes do not go into the rack. Well, they do, but I don't use them there yet. But instead, they are picked up on this patch in Falcon, which I am creating on the spot from scratch. And I added two parts. I'm going to mute this. So the part one is a super saw. This is a Roland super saw made by UVI. And I added a second part. The same notes from the OXI One track 2 come on into Falcon here as well. And here I put in a Euclidean sequencer. This is a sequencer that you could also buy. And I have actually. No, I don't. Maybe I have it. You can also get this in modular racks, Euclidean sequencers. But I got one in Falcon. So the OXI One MIDI information lands in here. UVI uses its script processing abilities to turn this into an arpeggiated sequence. I threw a dual delay effect on it. And I'm still working on, but I will save from time to time. I'm still working on the actual sound. The only thing I did here, besides the delay and massive reverb, I just use one sawtooth waveform, which is the basis of what we hear right now. I think it's spectacular. Super Pam in the house. So this is a virtual analog waveform, which is bollocks, but it sounds good. We can add as many oscillators as we want. So let's add a plug. No, not a plug. An FM. Let's disable this one analog for now. And now we introduced an FM synthesizer. I happen to kind of know how this works. Ears were ripped during the making of this video. just a few simple turns of events. Now we have an analog. But we can go do a sine wave. Give us a few more voices. It's not loud enough. This sounds good. Let's see what kind of effects we can do on this. We can introduce a filter here. Low pass filter. With some resonance. And I will show you. Let's do the super saw less loud. And remember, the only input Falcon gets is a very simple sustained note from the OXI One. And the notes that are being sent are in the C major scale, which I set on both sequencer tracks 1 and 2. If we change the scale on the OXI One, everything will adjust accordingly. So here we have this cutoff, and Crazy Rabbit will already guess it. We can modulate this button or this knob with an LFO. So right click, I can add a modulation, and I can say make a new LFO. So here we have an LFO. You see that something is happening here already. I'm gonna make it slower. So now you see here a white dot. Oh, wait, I don't show you the screen. Sorry about that. So you see here this cutoff knob, it's tiny. There's this white dot. And this is slowly moving the knob left to right. And if it closes too far down, then it cuts off so many of the frequencies that you don't hear it anymore. See, there it comes again. We can set this starting position higher. So it slowly moves the knob down, and here we go back up. We can let this be rhythmically, or synchronized to the tempo. So it does it, if we do it like, it does it every bar now. Or we can make it slower every 4 bars, every 8 bars, 32 bars, or very fast. So now you see that it's moving fast. I like it a bit slower. Okay, that's that. So we have the delay. We can also change the amount of the delay, for example. We can bind this to the same LFO, but we can also just right-click and add a new modulator. An LFO. It could also be a drunk LFO. Let's do an LFO. So the amount of delay we hear in the mix of this particular sound only is now being changed by an LFO. So let's set this to song mode. It will go on whatever is being played, a note or not. Make this go slowly. It starts to crackle a bit. This is a sign that we could crash in a moment. I cannot save. I think I'm already crashing. Let me try to save this multi at least, which is this program. I will save it inside the project folder of what we're doing today. Super saw and Euclidean sounds, whatever. At least if my sequencer crashes now, I will at least still have this sound inside of Falcon. So the amount, the mix of the effect is now slowly being modulated by an LFO as well. It has its own LFO, which works independently of any other LFO that might be working in any instance of UVI Falcon. Okay, that's good. Okay. Save multi again. So we added a layer. Can I save now? No, I cannot save. Let me stop. Stop PAMs. I cannot save this anymore, so I will try to save it as something else. Version 2. Because I fear that we could be in a situation where I'm about to crash, but I don't know. Okay, started PAM and everything starts running again. So, this is the initial sound that is coming from the modular gear. Which is going through a delay and a supermassive effect as well, a reverb. Oh, no, I can't save. Okay, good. See if we're still kind of in tune. If most notes land more or less in the middle, we are still okay. But due to temperature changes, the tuning of that particular module can drift. But we are still fine here. Okay, lowering the volume of the supersaw because it really fills up a lot of the audio spectrum, frequency spectrum. I want this more as a bit of a drone underneath. Okay, let's head back to modular, shall we? Oh, I don't know if you're still here, Crazy Rabbit. But if you are, I want to congratulate you, sir, on your OPSBot Tail Air purchase. Not too long ago, I was looking into them. And the reason is, I mentioned this, I think yesterday or the day before on the stream, that I'm currently running long HDMI cables from my two Panasonic video cameras to the computer, where they are being digitized by capture cards. And well, those long cables do introduce a bit of noise in the video, but also I expect pretty soon a new PCIe card to add a few old school Firewire ports to my Windows PC, because I want to reuse an RME Fireface 800 interface that I purchased new 20 years ago. And I tested it under macOS last week and it's still in superb condition, and I want to make it work again, because it's much better than the Behringer interface I'm using on PC right now. I want to get rid of that, or not get rid, but put it on the side for now. And I need to make room for that PCIe Firewire card, because all my PCIe slots are full. Which is, yeah, a different issue to have. Sinky goodness. Yeah. Let's go to the 128 we were talking about earlier. Everything adjusts perfectly now. Yeah, like a lack of space inside the PC, but also inside our rooms, or the hutch as you call it, is an issue. So this is the same song at 120 BPM. And it just follows. A mic level attenuator, that's like bulky stuff, dude. No, that will be fine. They are not much bigger than a dongle, where on one end you have a cable. Well, you need on one end two TS phono jacks for the left and right output of your Zoom, and on the other end you need one 3.5 millimeters TRS jack to go into your tail air. And the thing itself is perhaps like this, but I don't carry a banana for scale, but I have an OXI One for scale. But it does add more clutter to the rooms that are already cluttered. So, but it's pretty cool because we can go into territory that you are used to, like the 150-ish BPM. And everything follows now. So Pam is now boss. Let's lower this a bit. Go back to 54, which is your age, your jam. A cable placed between the existing breakout cable. No, well, no, it can be one cable. Yeah. Check is in the mail. Send cookies. We love them. So, we have one matricial sequencer playing the Pixie, which is a replica of mutable instrument Platts. That is the one voice you hear. Okay, I muted track 2 now. So what you hear now, all these cables, all these things, the modules, cables, and then the DAW with its effects, do nothing more than produce these sounds. Stay a while and listen. So it's almost nothing, and it's quite a load of gear and cables and software that's responsible for these few notes. Just a moment, by the way. Yeah, normally I don't display my Stream Deck. It's not like I want to brag, hey, I got this Stream Deck, because I don't, who cares? But I had room to fill, and I don't have a line level to mic level attenuator to fill this space. I also, I'm sorry. I also don't have an OPSBot tail air or whatever rabbit tail camera to put here. That would be fun because it could stand here and then it could look up and you could watch the inside of my nose with it. So it's, I mean, it is all possible. It's endless. So I had to fill up this space. On the left, I placed the Christmas diamond painting card that our daughter made for us last year. I don't keep cards around except the ones made by our daughter. They are special to me, so that's why it got a special place today. So if you would calculate the price per note in this setup, it would come out ridiculously high. It's insane. Nobody buys all this stuff to hear a few of these notes. But I did. So I thought, let's add something, a layer underneath, so I could pretend that all of this dreamscape is emerging from this gear, from this rack. It could make it so much easier to explain to my wife that I need an extra case like this to put next to it, and that it needs to be filled up as well. We more or less need more splarf in this world to stay safe and to keep peace. So, yeah. So, it's all part of a big scheme. So, yeah. So, and do I need an OXI One to send a sustained note in the scale of C major to Falcon? Of course not. But do I like it? Yeah, sure. So, who cares? You hear stuff happening. So it is just one note. You hear the supersaw. It's turning into something musical already. And I don't do shit. So, I think we should add more. More. Oh, and Crazy Rabbit. Damn, did I put an Obsbot tail air in a shopping cart somewhere far away? Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I'm running out of PCI slots. Yeah, that was the issue. So I was actually more or less looking for cameras that can work over Ethernet, because Ethernet cabling is super cheap, super stable, and can reach way further. So I could put cameras up in the bedroom as well, and or outside, like film outside while doing a live stream, stuff like that. And it would free up the PCIe slots that I need for other purposes. So I already removed one video capture card. This is an extremely dusty Magewell capture card. It looks like nothing. Is it Magewell? Oh no, I think it's the Black Magic design. Yeah, it's not the Magewell. The Magewell card is still in the PC. That looks super simple. It is my most expensive capture card, and it can handle anything you throw at it. That's good. This was my first video capture card. This is the Black Magic design. I forgot the name. And it's Intensity Pro. It's still on the sticker that's on the back. And it's not very stable. It was hard to get to work. And but if it works, it works. And I had this in my Mac Pro, and later on I had it in my Windows PCs. And I used this a lot with my Twitch streams. Later, I purchased an AverMedia capture card, and then I purchased a Magewell. So at a certain point, I had 3 of these in my PC to connect 3 cameras, but I removed this one. I couldn't place this, and I currently don't have more than 2 HDMI cameras anyways. But the idea is to remove another PCI card and change it for a Firewire card. That will be on the menu between now and maybe 2 weeks. So not before Christmas and New Year's Eve. But yeah, then I will be working on getting my 5-phase 800 back in the setup. And I already tested it for my headphones and it sounds incredible. I forgot how good the sound actually was when I bought it 20 years ago. And it sounds incredibly good. So it will be nice for myself to listen to music at my PC. But the inputs are also very good. So any hardware synthesizers that I connect might sound more transparent as well, or more detailed. We'll see. I hope it works, because that will save me around 1,200 euros for a new interface. We need a plan. We got 2 sequencer tracks left. And of course, the easiest way to get more musicality is not use the Eurorack, but send everything over MIDI to the DAW and get it over with. But yeah, that's actually not what I want to do. So we have to decide which sound generating module I can use other than the Pixie. I don't have a lot of options. I have very few even, because I got kind of carried away with utility modules to shape the sound. And that's why Zadar, ornamented crime, and another ornamented crime, and ripples all work together to get a certain sound out of this oscillator module, Pixie. It's quite insane, but on the other hand, if you buy a normal hardware synth, these features, or part of them, will also be inside that machine. So like a normal synthesizer will have this all hardwired, all these features, all these chips that do these functionalities. They will be hardwired in a synthesizer, and you get some control knobs or faders, and that's it. In Eurorack, you buy these functions separately, and then you decide how you patch them up together. So you can create new combinations every time. But yeah, if you look at it this way, this sound that you hear on channel 1, so I will mute this, and I will go to channel 1, and play, start from Pamela's, because she's boss. You can see this entire case as one synthesizer now, because that's how I use it now. I send voltage inside and gates, and the gates tell the notes when they can start playing, and the other modules tell the oscillator how the sound should be shaped that you eventually hear. And then eventually, after the filter, it goes through this black cable into my audio interface, and then the DAW takes it from there. So if I don't play, or I could just play notes myself. That's just the sound I designed with this case now. So it's nothing else than having another synthesizer here, which has all these connections on the inside. It works the same. It's just, this is of course more expensive, but that's because the modules all have to be built separately, and they offer all these ins and outs and control knobs and faders that you combined will never see on one synthesizer. So it offers a lot of control and you pay for it. Okay. What do we do with channel 3? And where do we send it to? I have the option to use Disting Mark IV or Disting EX as a voice as well, as an oscillator. Rabbit Lucky Tail food? Wait, what? You are a good storyteller, Wabbit. That's what I like. I wish I could tell the stories like you do. I can talk about nerdy stuff, but nobody listens. So let's connect something to something to get something more. Oh, okay. Yeah. Tail air. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm really feeling the gas. Gas. I'm gonna take the CV from output 3 of my OXI in a moment. And I will send it into, I think the... Oof, I have to bend over a bit. And send it, I think the X input, or one input on this half of the Disting EX. I think that's where the pitch information goes. And I need to have an output. Disting EX is already somewhere on input 4. One live calls, a rabbit doesn't delay. Let's see what Disting EX gives us. Yeah, I know, the wires. So if I solo... That is the Disting EX, the left half of Disting EX that you hear. Disting Mark IV, which is next to it, can perform one algorithm at a time. Disting EX has larger algorithms that use the entire modules, but can also be split up in two halves, which both behave like a Disting Mark IV. So technically, if I would split these up in two oscillators and use this one as well, I have 3 more oscillators being sound sources. I would rather have no wires, but we're talking utopia here. We wouldn't have wires. Without wires, no life. So there is a sound coming from here, and it's not very useful now, is it? How can I make it more useful? I do, but I don't, but I do. Okay, let me grab I'm gonna use this. So this is the thingy-majingy. So I'm gonna patch the output, the audio from Disting EX into this module here. And from there, it is now going into the audio interface into the DAW. And now I have a volume slider. So I set it to 0, but you hear it a bit longer because there is a large echo or large reverb on it. I think there is no pitch information going to that module yet. So we go into the LFO, into the CV Engage assignment page of OXI One. And how does this work again? Okay, CV3, sequencer 1, no. Okay, CV3 output, which you can see here on the pipe, on the OXI pipe, but it's also the CV3 output on the back, will be fed by the pitch of sequencer 3 from now on. And so if I now were to go to sequencer 3 and play a note, you don't hear it well. Let's change the mix in. Okay. You hear that hollow sound. I will set this to the same scale as the others. We are in C major. So if I play here now. I'm gonna mute the other two tracks. Okay, there's a bit much effect on the Disting EX. There's delay. 2 Valhalla SuperMassives. It's a bit excessive. And if you remember from yesterday, I used an LFO on this incoming Disting EX to pan this track a little bit from the left to the right. Listen carefully. I will only say this once. Interestingly, a synthesizer voice, an oscillator, is always on. So I push a button. This pitch information of the button I just pushed goes through all these cables and then ends up here in this module. And this module now knows, okay, that's the note, the pitch I'm supposed to play, and it will keep playing this forever. So it's the same as with Pixie, it's always on. But in Pixie you have an extra module or an extra feature which is called an VCA, which is a voltage controlled attenuator. So Pixie can be can be controlled to say, okay, close the amplifier or close your attenuate the signal to 0, and then we don't hear it anymore. But internally, this module is also constantly playing the last pitch that it has received through its input. Always. This one does it too. The difference is Pixie is analog, so can get out of tune. The distinct modules are digital, completely digital, so they will not go out of tune until you say so. Okay, with that out of the way, of course, we don't want the notes to play forever. So, you see here that there is this fader that lets me control the volume. And again, if I do it full volume and then close the fader, you still hear the delay and the reverb, which are inside the DAW and take a while to go to volume of 0. But that's just how I programmed it into the DAW. But if we want the this fader to open up only for a while, if we hit a note and then close back again, we can use, yes, you guessed it, a gate into Zadar, and then from Zadar send an envelope into this. I will show you. So we said to OXI One that sequencer 3, which is on the 3rd row, will send a CV output for the note you play, for the pitch, on a CV output 3, which corresponds to 3 here. We also can send a gate, which is the right part of the OXI One. We can tell it that on that same sequencer row 3, every time a note is being triggered, we want to send out a gate signal on channel 3, on gate 3. So we have here gate 3, and this can go into Zadar. I'm using Zadar again. I'm gonna trigger channel B of Zadar every time I hit a note. I will show you. So here's channel B. It shows a waveform. It doesn't matter right now what it is. So if I now play on channel 3, see? I don't know if you can see that, it's small. But a black line will run over this waveform to show you that actually something was pressed on sequencer 3. What we can now do is, this is actually a voltage going from 0 up to 10 volt back to 0 volts. We can send this voltage because all this gear, all it does is send voltages around. We can send this voltage out to this module to actually control that fader internally. Of course, the fader won't move, but internally it will open up the let's say the attenuator. It will open it up, and then it will close it down according to this shape. That, at least that's my plan. So the output of channel B on the Zadar, because Zadar has a quadruple generator, it can do 4 things at the same time. I'm triggering channel B, so it makes only sense that I'm also using the output of channel B and use that as the input on this channel. And now just hope and pray. Okay, it doesn't work. That's because I should probably open this. So I opened up the fader completely, but contrary to the others that are opened, the green light is not coming on. Why? Because I plugged a CV cable into its input. So this module knows, okay, I can go to the maximum volume, but only when I'm told to do so. Watch this. So what happened is, according to this graph on Sadar, when I press a note, this thing will open up and close. And during that time, the light will actually come on. So I can now play notes on channel 3. And we can use that because now it acts like a monophonic synthesizer, which Disting EX and Pixie are. You can play on, you can send only one pitch at a time, and it will play that and nothing else. So if we would program this sequencer 3 with some notes, we would be in business, you would think. Okay, so I'm turning this into a monophonic synthesizer track. And now I think it just works. Or does it? Channel 3 sends out everywhere. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Why isn't it running anymore? Oh, wait. Track 1 and 2 are running. Three, is it muted? Oh. I don't hear it. Let's mute 1 and 2. So we may have found ourselves in another debugging situation. Because I'm pretty sure that I input notes on 3 and I am sending, wait, where are these things I entered here? Where are my CV assignments? I'm pretty sure. Oh, what? It didn't. I lost my settings or something? Let's not ask. So, we turned this Disting EX with Sadar and this VAX into a synthesizer voice, which now goes into our DAW, and we can process it there. So, success. We can change the way this volume knob is wiggled by changing to a different shape. We introduced a bit of wobble because it's a bit of a wobbly envelope. Like quickly moving that volume slider up and down every time a note is played. We can set the octave higher. Turn it into a bit of a 8-bit game. Now I would love to have another filter to put this sound through, because it's now a purely a square or whatever wave from the disting that only the volume is being adjusted. But unlike the pixie sound, which goes through a filter, we don't have that here. And I'm not sure one of my other modules, perhaps the other half of Disting EX, can be used as a filter. Hey Maltas, goedemiddag. Leuk dat je er weer even bent. Ik probeer vandaag zeg maar de chaos van gisteren een beetje om te bouwen in iets wat muzikaler klinkt. The chaos was real. Nee, that would never happen. Oh, this is fun. So you hear this wave shape, you hear that back in the sound. This is like a bouncing ball. Getting back to the tennis ball theme. So the shape you see is also basically what you hear. Of course, we can make this polyrhythmic by not having 16 steps, but for example 15. So it will no longer be synchronized with the other tracks. Okay, octave lower. So I don't think I have another filter in my rack. Unless this thing would be able to filter audio. I am not sure. And what can Ornamented Crime do? Let's see. Ornamented Crime has a lot of applets. It has fun sequencer things as well. But I don't think it can only... it cannot process audio. Pretty sure. So this is not like a thing that could filter. No. That's not possible. Oh, it could be fun to actually use it as a scope for this sound. Let's go. Yeah. Wait. One more cable. That's like the most used thing in modular racks. Let's see if we can now monitor. This is a scope which shows you kind of the waveform of the sound that's coming from the disting. It's also not as loud because I have outputted directly. So I'm losing a lot of volume. It's nice eye candy. So we have to kind of up the volume a bit inside the DAW. I'm muting the other tracks for a moment. Output, input, gain, put in, put out. No put in on this channel, sir. Oh, there's still coffee. But nothing will stop us from putting a filter inside. Let's see what we can do here. If we use only low pass filters, we will end up with a lot of low frequency sound. So I think I should actually use a high pass filter to only let this through ever so slightly in the higher frequencies. There's a lot of weird sound going on, but if we combine it with the other sequences, I'm not super impressed. I do like the semi-random sequence from the first module, the plats. But hey, it works. At least I created a nice Falcon patch. I'm happy with that. Using a Euclidean sequencer. That's one of the successes of today. We still have OXI channel 4, and perhaps it would be fun to add a drum sequence. Now, I don't have drum modules. I do have the distinct modules which can, I think, act as wave or sample players. I have to figure that out. I did figure out during breakfast how to sync the clock of Pamela to the OXI One and back into the DAW. That was a win as well. So it's advancing. We're getting somewhere. And yeah, last night I didn't pull all the cables from the system. I wanted to een clip aan het fixen, dus ik ben half afwezig. Nee, sure. Maltas, doe je ding. Leuk dat je even hallo komt zeggen en je bent natuurlijk niks verplicht. Oké, we hebben kanaal 4. We have channel 4 and let's see, I can set that to polyphonic. Because if polyphonic, not matricial. Wait. Polyphonic, which means we can set up drums, I think. Well, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I can. But, oh, Bet, you like to sing Pamela's clock? She is actually... Pamela is now the master of this entire room. So I'm being synced by Pamela. Yeah. I don't know what I think about that. So, back to Ableton. I'm gonna insert another track using instruments. Should I use a drum thingy-majingy from Ableton? Oh, wat leuk. Rabbit, nice that you speak Dutch for a moment. Lip syncing. Lip sync. Wait. What's going on? No. I always end up using Falcon. I don't know. I'm sorry about that, but not really sorry. Drum designer. Let's see what. Wait, what? Holy thing, that's fat. Oh, baby. Okay. Introducing some drums. Fed in from the OXI. Let's see if we can do that. So Falcon needs C1 for the kick. We have a snare, another snare, a clap, and then cymbals. Okay, we can do that. Microphone is moving with me. Let's see. Of course it's not playing. Why is it not playing? Oh, because this is not C4. The bloops root must be C4. I think. It's not. Why is this not a C4? It is a C4. Wait. Oh no, I need a C1. Okay. Going down, down, deeper and down, 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 deeper and down, do 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 down, down. Wait. C1. Velocity 75, octave 0, gate. Why you not work? Why? Wait, what? C1, C1, C1. I get nothing. Crazy rabbit, we won't tell anyone. So, channel 4 is going out on MIDI channel 4. Oh, I'm not listening at MIDI channel 4. Ah, if you're not listening to the correct channel, you don't get to play. Channel 4 from the OXI One. Ah, boom. Okay. Now we're talking. Isn't this how the cool kids use a Roland TR-8S? Oh, a Roland TR-1000, I mean. Okay, how do I set the actual note being played in a polyphonic thingy majingy? Let me see. It is yeah, it is polyphonic. Okay, that's good. I think you can hold this note and then tell it. Can you tell him? Or do I do this step? No, this is about other things. How did this work again? C1, C sharp 1. I don't want this to be a C sharp. I want it to be different. I want it to be a D1. C, no. There was a way to do that. Or is there a different kind of multi-track? Oh, it's multi-track. Aha, this is it. Multi-track. The root note will be set to C1. I think. Oh, I lost my notes now. Yeah. So this is C1. Yeah, and I can set the next to a D1. Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, do I do that on a per step basis? No. No. I don't believe so. Why is this still yellow now? Oh, that's the lane I'm on. Yeah. Nice, Maltos. I'm struggling here to get some drums out and you guys have all the fun. That's not fair. So a D sharp. And then we need we have another snare here on the E. Okay, gotcha. All right, what else can we do? Our next sound will be on the F sharp. So I'm gonna set this to F sharp. Why is the rest not F sharp? Why doesn't it set it for the entire thing? That's annoying. So this, can I set the entire line to F sharp is my question. I'm not sure. And I can't ask Wabbit because he's talking gibberish now. If you would want to have drum sounds like these from your modeler, that would cost me another few $100. So I'm quite okay so far. Now you can talk. Hello? Now you can talk gibberish all day. That's all fine. Here, French touch. Parlez français à moi, avec moi. French house. Some frequencies are so low I don't even know if YouTube can transfer them. Whoa. So low. Huh. I don't mind this one. That is fine-ish. Looks like one of the... Okay, it's still working. Let's do something in the master channel, by the way. I think... a bit of compression. Bit of saturation. Somewhere is a limiter, of course. This will, of course, also apply to my voice, but it's fine. I use this when I actually create a song, a complete song. I'm measuring the output level. So we can add a utility. Where we can, for example, mono the entire sound to get a feel of how it sounds, because a stereo widening just messes with our head, right? Everything sounds beautiful so wide. It's a very low bass. We can widen the stereo spectrum some more. But make the bass mono, because it's kind of weird to have bass sounds left to right. What you want to treat as bass and make mono. So that's Ableton Live for a moment. So the music is way louder now. I can try and turn the entire mix down for you. So, do not overpower it too much. So this is our drum track. Okay. Could we do this with a matricial sequencer, perhaps? Let a matricial sequencer play the drums. Let's see what happens if we do. This will go to waste, which is fine. It's all experimental. Yeah. Okay. Matricial sequencer. We have 4 times 16 locations. I still hear there's still a drum going. That is interesting because I think why is this still going? It's interesting, huh? Let me see what is actually coming in on. Let's use a MIDI monitor to see what signal is coming in. Yeah, we definitely get. This is because I have this Falcon this channel listen to all the MIDI channels of the OXI One, including the sequencer 1, 2, and 3. Interesting. It gives us a drum sequence, but it's not intended behavior. I want to listen to channel 4 only. So now you see nothing is coming in anymore. And notice I save often. So how does this matricial stuff work? Let me see, what's this? This is okay, let me see. I can set triggers on. Let me set triggers on this first. Randomize it. Oh wait, randomize. So there are now random triggers on this 4x4 block, and I can set the notes on this block, I think, to be C1. Yeah. I'm a master. It works. So I program only one note value on this matricial part, which is the C1, which is my kick drum. Okay, and D1 would be my snare. So going on the note part of this part of the sequencer, I'm going to set it to D1 and say that this has only the first and last note of these sequencer are this first block. You can program up to 16 notes, different note values, and it will go through it. But that's not necessary, because I want this part of the sequencer to only control a snare, which is on D1. If there are other snares in this set, which I can check, I think there are. Yes, there is a second snare, which is on E1. So that's interesting. I can have a second note be the E1. And I can set the end of this. So it will now switch between the first and the second snare inside of Falcon. It's super interesting if you know how it works, which I don't, but I'm learning. Okay, we have some random hits on the kick. Let's trigger. Let's use a Euclidean sequencer. We can do Euclidean on this one as well. Which is 16 pulses and it triggers every 4 pulses. So this will be a 4 on the floor beat. Okay, that's cool. And this one. How can we... We can set... Well, I can set these by hand, of course. Or I can have the direction of the triggers go... Oops. Oops, wrong button. Okay, cool. We got that going. Now, we have 2... Does it ever play the other snare, though? I'm looking at Falcon now inside of Ableton. It doesn't. Oh, it doesn't because it's not random. It switches between these two. Yeah, then I have to do... It will switch if I use, for example, this one too, or this one. Yeah. So the odd hits are on the first snare and the even are on the second snare. I can end it here so it can use all 16. So I can put in a few evens. Yep. So now I'm using 2 snares. Okay, that works. Okay, we got 2 sequences going for kick and snare. What else do we have? We have a clap on D sharp. So let's set note. Okay, let's set D1 sharp. D sharp 1, I mean. And it here. So it will only ever use that one note. Okay, we got another one. I can probably set the velocity as well. This is the interval, pulses, velocity. Okay, so we can set on a per step basis the velocity. Can I somehow randomize that? I can. I don't know if that actually randomized the velocity or something else. Oh, I can... yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll consider that done. What else do we have in this drum kit? C#2. We can use that as well. So C#2, which is one of the symbols in this kit. And let's trigger it. Let's randomize it. That doesn't work. It plays the wrong note. Oh, wait, I didn't set the endpoint. Yeah, now it triggers the correct note. Okay, we have some kind of drum beat now. Using a multi-track sequencer, or actually a matricial sequencer, which could introduce more randomness. But for now we got something. And this something is playing inside Falcon. So, I don't know how musical you would call this, but it's better than the random bleeps and bloops we had yesterday. It does help, of course, that we can like put a real drum kit to work inside my DAW. I don't have the modules to do that. That can all be fixed, but it takes hundreds of euros to get an actual nice drum kit in. But I could trigger them because I have, at least from the OXI One, I have triggers left. And you only need a gate signal to trigger a drum sound, because you don't need to change the pitch per se. The firmware updates have been applied. I have updated the OXI One, I've updated Falcon, I have updated ornament and crime modules. Others not yet. So yeah, I think there are features missing. I am actually, yeah, this rack has been waiting for that one game changer, and I don't see it coming before Christmas. Which is a shame. I do have a launch control XL3. I put it back in the box. No, Novation is in the box until I get my t-shirt. I also, for the first time in 3 years, I put my Launchpad Pro Mark III back in the box, because they just refused to send me my t-shirt. And I said to them, what's up with that? I want me shirt. I do so much marketing work for them. Unsolicited praise in many a command. And I really, really, really like their products. But without a t-shirt, there's a no-go. Underwear is okay too. I mean, I would wear a boxer short with the Novation Summit on top of it. In any location possible. And a MIDI input slot right in the middle of my back. I would do it. I would stream in Novation underwear, but the guys say no. Can someone please message Novation headquarters and tell them that Raider Rich is still waiting for the t-shirt or underwear or a towel or even something to sneeze in. Yeah, I think we should not do a day one release video as a collective, but do a day one, put it back in the box video series until we get what we asked for. Because Novation is currently not worthy. loincloth, anything, anything. As long as I can wear Novation on the body, I would go for it. I mean, I would put my splarf in the upper position for it. But Novation has to be notified of this stream, or otherwise it stays in the box. I have unboxed my Launch Control XL3, updated the firmware, tested a few sliders and knobs to see if it worked, and then I put it back where it belongs in the box, and it's in one of the bedrooms until further notice. Okay, can we randomize this again? Of course we can, because that's what this thing is made for. Can you beat? Yes, we can. So we got still this thingy-majingy running. I could randomize this as well, I think. Or could I? I don't know, actually. Probably not in this mode. So we got sequence 1, which is being sent through all these wires into Pixie and then into your ears, which must be bleeding by now. We got sequence 2, long sustained notes, which go into Ableton Live through this USB connection. And it's playing my self-designed UVI sounds. Okay, later, Maltas. Is it that time already? I've been streaming for 2 hours. Let me look on some clock. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So, this is channel 2, track 2. Track 3 is notes being played by Distinct EX. Sounds being modified by Zadar. Then going into the DAW and going through effects. And 4 is a matricial sequencer controlling 4 different MIDI notes which go into a drum track or a drum synth inside of UVI Falcon, inside of Ableton Live, inside of Windows 11, inside my PC. Whew, talking about Inception. I think we got a lot of stuff going. And it looks fantastic. It's cool to play with. It's more fun than using a mouse and a keyboard. But to get the job done, this is not the correct way. This is the way of the Wabbit. This is music making carrot style. A tennis ball's not included. And I think this would be a correct time to thank you for being here. What does this button do? Okay. I didn't know. I suddenly see a welcome button on my Stream Deck and I didn't realize I actually programmed to say something nice in the chat. Well, I am definitely Richard. I am known as Raider Rich. I was previously known as Light Magic. But whatever. I'm just an old man playing with too expensive toys. And darn, do I want that OpSpot camera now. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, I can speed it up a bit. Speed it up. Because Pamela's Pro Workout is the boss of my entire setup now. Now we get into Wabbit territory. This is too fast for Malta, so he went off to eat. He won't live to see this. Can you play? Yes, I can. It took a few thousand euros in gear, software. I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all gone. It's gone and I don't care anymore. I leave you with this, and I thank you very much for being here today. And I'll see you perhaps tomorrow, but don't tell anyone. Goodbye. my case, thank you so much for being here. And of course, Crazy Webber and Malthus and others who stepped in and enjoyed this mess in silence. I appreciate it. It was a mess, that's what it was.